Marketing matters, and so does location. Here's a story for you. It was a house for sale that had obvious problems. It was a bit of a wreck, so much more than a quick fixer-upper, what we know in the business as a contractor's special. It looked really bad, it was full of the seller's stuff and was a total mess. Certainly not one for the faint of heart. Well, this really bad-looking house, it was on a corner lot on a really busy street. The busyness of the street, coupled with the property condition, made it a really tough sell. But it wasn't all bad. The good points were it was in a great neighborhood and in a strong school district, very close to downtown Palo Alto. As you can see, I wasn't exaggerating. Notice the buckling steps and the wood posts shoring the place up. So here's how this went. It was put on the market in August 2014 for $1.5 million. A couple of weeks later, it was withdrawn from the market. I guess the sellers decided they wanted more money for it because just 2 weeks later, it was reintroduced to the market for a much higher list price of $1.8 million. It finally sold a few months later in February 2015 for $1,750,000. Well, nearly 2 years later, in late December of 2016, after a thorough facelift, it was more like a rebuild with the addition of a second story, it was back on the market for $3.3 million. But the address was no longer on Middlefield Road. They had reconfigured the home, moving the front door onto the quieter side street. Notice the clever use of landscaping, adding fast-growing tall bushes to help shield the property both visually and to buffer the sound of the traffic from the busier street. At first it was overpriced, but after resetting the list price correctly at $3.175 million, it quickly sold with multiple offers, and it finally sold for the original higher price of $3.3 million. So moral of the story, even though the property was in exactly the same place, changing the orientation of the front door and the physical street address from busier thoroughfare to quieter side street likely went a long way in helping this home to sell faster, better, and for a higher price. There are plenty of more interesting stories like this to share. If you want to hear more, just give me a call.